can do this with this. Hello everybody, we're going to talk about setting up using a SharePoint group, using a SharePoint group to establish access for a role. Okay, you can set up multiple roles, but I'm just going to go over one today. So first thing you're going to do in your Power App, you're going to set up these lines here, but we're going to do this at the end. This is what it looks like in the end. Okay. The only thing we're passing to PowerAutomate is the email address, and as you can see, it makes it lowercase, and we're encoding it into a URL because PowerAutomate don't understand email addresses; they understand URLs. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our SharePoint group. Okay. So you're going to go over to SharePoint. I've already navigated to the SharePoint group address, and I will put the post URL that you put on the end of your site in the comments at the end of the video here, and I'll go ahead and do that. So once you get to your group, people in groups, you want to be on the group side. Okay, you're going to go new, and then at the top you're going to create a group. Okay, you can call it whatever you want. It's best not to have any spaces though. Call this one test group. You don't have to fill anything out, anything in that you want. The only other setting that's required is this one right here. Okay, who can view the membership of the group? Okay, if you don't put everyone, PowerAutomate won't be able to see it, and it'll act like it's not there. So you need to make sure that's selected, and you have a good name up here. Okay, once you're done, you hit create. Now, if you want to, you can populate names in there now if you want. You don't have to. You can wait till later. Doesn't really matter when you do it. Alright, next we're going to create our flow. Okay, our flow has several steps, as you can see, but it's not overly complicated. Okay, first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a flow that is PowerApps triggered. Okay, you can do that one of two ways. You can go into PowerApps, click on the PowerAutomate icon right here, and hit add flow if you got flows already. If you don't have flow, you'll just see a create new flow. Okay, you hit create new flow, it'll open up flow inside PowerApps, and away you go. The other way is to your flow itself. You can go create, let me save this real quick before I forget. Okay, you go create, and then you get all these templates and stuff, but we are doing an instant call flow. You're going to give it a name, right? And you're going to go PowerApps, and then you're going to hit create, and that will take you back to where I was. Okay. The only difference between about where I was and what you will see is this one's populated, but the other one is not. Where did I go? Oh, drawing a blank, I don't see it. Oh, it's because it went to the top. Because I saved it. Alright, so inside here, blow these open again so you can see everything. Alright, so you're going to see this step up here and nothing else. Okay. First thing you're going to do is you're going to create two variables. These are initialized variables. Okay, these are not set variables, okay, because they got the 3 boxes. First one you're going to set, you can call it whatever you want, I don't care. I always put var in front of my variable, so I know it's a variable. And then this variable is to tell me whether they're a member or not, so it says is a member. You set it as a Boolean. This is a true-false one. You don't want anything else going in there but true-false. Next one, call it what you want. Same thing. It's for your JSON response. So I call it JSON response. You are going to set this as a string and then leave the default value blank. It's the same for both. Here's where all the work gets done is the next step. This is an HTTP call to SharePoint. This is not the premium one, okay? This is the out-of-the-box one. I call it determine as member. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put your site address in here. Now, you want to make this thing dynamic, you can add a couple more variables to this. Actually, you only need one. You can add a variable for the site address, so that way you can call it from PowerApps. But in this case, I didn't do that. I just hard-coded it in because it's only for this one. Your method is going to be get, because we are pulling information. URI. The URI I will post in the comments. Basically reads API web, site groups, get by name, and then inside the name, inside the single quotes, you're going to put the name of your group. Okay, so mine, if I was going to use the one I just made, it'd be test group. No spaces, okay? As you see, there's still no spaces in there, I just put dashes in between. You can do it however you want. And then, but these single quotes around the name are very essential, along with the the punctuation here. /users, $, filter equals email, space, EQ, space, and then you get your single quotes again around your dynamic content. The dynamic content, what you have to do to create it is you got to hit inside the box here, see more, and then hit ask in PowerApps, and that'll make that dynamic content. That's the email address we're calling from PowerApps. Okay, and then you're done with that step. Next, you're going to do a set variable. A set variable is only have 2 boxes, so if you have 3, then you hit the wrong one. Okay, you're going to name it. Or in your name, you're going to grab your JSON response variable name that you selected up here. Okay, and then you're going to do first thing you're going to do is in here you're going to click to get your dynamic content from above. Okay, and you're going to grab the body from your step above. Okay, and then inside your body, you're going to click on it. You're going to copy it, and then you're going to expression, and then you're going to paste it with Control V. Click in the box. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the brackets and the @ sign away from the end. Okay, so delete this. Okay, and then the rest of this is going to look the same. Okay, yeah, my notes I should have changed that, but it goes question mark, square, single quote, B, go outside of it, same thing, single quote, or square bracket, single quote, results. And when you're done, you hit OK. I'm trying to figure out why it looks different. But essentially it's the same thing as this. When you save it, it may change to a SharePoint thing. So, as you can see, it looks exactly the same. Oh, I know why, because it didn't need the question mark. I'm sorry, that's my fault. But it should look like this when it's done. Okay. Next thing you do is you're going to make a condition statement. Okay. Down here, what you're going to do is, God dang, I hate when I do that. Keep closing these up. Inside here, come down, and you're going to go on the expression side, type in equals, question mark, and then you're going to go to the dynamic content and grab the JSON response variable, and then put a comma and come back to expression and hit comma, and then open and close square brackets, and then close it. And then you're going to hit OK, which will bring you back here. And then you set is equal to, and you're going to put true. All right. So what that says is, if the JSON response comes back empty, set it as true. Okay. And if it's true, it's going to come down to this side where it says if yes. It's blank. That means they're not a member. Okay. So you're going to set the there is member variable from up here to false. And if it's false, means there's stuff inside the brackets. That means they're a member. You can set the there is member to true. And then we're going to come down to the bottom, and we're going to create a step called respond to PowerApp or flow. You're going to create a text variable. I called it is group member. You can call it whatever you want, but you got to know what it is, because you're going to call it in the PowerApp. You're going to put the there is member variable in there, and then you're going to save your You're going to save your flow. And then if you made it from PowerApps, you don't have to add it, because it'll add automatically. If you did it from Power Automate, you will have to add it. And the way you do that is through this same process I just showed you earlier. If you don't see it in the list, scroll to the top. You'll see a ellipse here. Click it, hit refresh. When it refreshes, you'll find it. It'll probably be at the top, because I think it goes by the most recently modified. And then you just click it and it adds it. And then now we're going to get into building the formula. Okay, we'll start at the middle and work our way out. Okay, so essentially you're going to do is you're going to put your name of your flow dot run parentheses. Then you're going to go encode URI, and then you're going to go parentheses, and then you don't have to put the lower in there, but I do. I want to make sure there's no issues with the email going into flow. So you go lower user.email and then close it. Okay, and you're going to have to close it a few times, because you got the user function, you got the lower function, and you got the encode URI function. So you're going to have 3 right off the bat. Okay, but you need to put the result of this flow into a variable, otherwise the next line won't work. Okay, so you put, I called it as member. Okay, now once the flow runs successfully, it will write that variable is group member into this. So if you look here, you see it creates a record variable, and the is group member variable is here. Okay, with its result. So I'm going to set a second variable called is visible, because I'm using this to determine whether someone sees something or not. It says if lower is member dot is group member equals true, because remember it's text, so you got to put it in quotes. Set this variable to true, otherwise set it to false. And then at this point now, all you have to do is wherever you want, wherever that admin access needs to be, that's where you're going to put that variable. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to what you want to set your variables. You want to determine whether admin sees or not, and you're going to go into it and set that variable. So we're going to show you an instance of that. Okay, so we're going to close this up, and let's see, this thing really isn't built out very much, so let's see what we got to play with here. Okay, we got approver screen, right? Registration screen. Okay, so the approver screen requires admin access, right? Because this is not something users are supposed to see, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button. So we'll go insert icon, and we'll say, we'll make a check mark, because a check mark means approval, right? So we'll put a check mark on here. Come on. We'll put it over here. Now, here, we'll make it white, so it's easier to see. Now, the only thing you have to do to restrict that icon right there is go down to the visible, and you're going to put in that variable. Is visible. Okay. Now, you see that this variable has a blank value to it, right? It's not true or false. So since it's not true, the icon disappears. Okay. Now, if I do this and go run on start, you'll notice everything where the is visible is applied suddenly appears. Okay, and that's how you control access inside your thing. If you don't want them accessing certain things, another method is you can go to your display mode, right? Oh wait, that's on the screen. Let's grab this icon again. We're going to pick on it again. Instead of doing visible, we can do display mode, right? So we can go here, go to the beginning and said if is visible, display mode edit, otherwise display mode disabled, and close it. Okay, and then we're going to go back to the visible screen here, and we're going to set this to true. Okay, so it's not going to disappear this time, it's just going to get grayed out. Okay, it's going to get disabled. Okay, and then I'm going to insert a button here to set that variable. I'm going to manually set it to false, just so I can show you this, just for demonstration purposes, okay? So, select, we're going to go set, visible, false. Just to make it true, all I got to do is run my script, my flow again. Okay, so we're going to run this button. All right, so just to verify, it is set to false, okay? And you'll notice, oops, anytime I click it, it doesn't do nothing, right? Well, I don't have it going anywhere yet. Let me fix that part real quick. Not a fair test, but I don't have it set up with anything. So we'll go navigate. Oops. Prover screen. Fade. Close. Alright. So it's still set to false, right? So if I try to run it, there's nothing, right? I'm clicking, nothing's happening. Alright, so now I'm gonna run on start. It's gonna run the flow. Everything came back. Now if I click it, it takes me to the approver screen. Alright, let's go back. Alright, we're going to run my button again. Everything disappeared, so you know it went false. And nothing happens. So they can click it all day long and nothing will happen. Unless we get that condition to work again. Okay? So that's how you can set up role-based security. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments below, and thank you for watching.